very similar to what we just had off of that. So you taste it.
Oh yeah, very much.
And you get the zing.
That's much more enjoyable.
So the good question would be like, which coffees would you roast knowing that you had a lower pressure spring?
Well, so from what we've tasted with this coffee, the big difference was the lower pressure or the lighter spring gave us brighter notes and less body.
Yes.
Right. So I think the question then becomes, what kind of espresso do you want to have?
Right.
And then
it gets personal.
Yeah, and I think that's really, I do believe that that's where coffee really lies, is that it's a very personal thing. So like, it's like, if you're a person that likes light, bright coffees, then you're almost there. But if you like coffees that are deeper, darker, and heavier, then you may have to go with something even, like these are more like, this particular coffee is a kind of like a city plus roast. So we're roasting, starting at Celsius, about, I think we probably started the roast at 215 and finish it somewhere around 210 Celsius. I don't know Fahrenheit.
You started at 215 and you finish at 210. How is that possible?
Well, it dips down, right, and then comes back up.
And then you finish. Okay. I'm following you.
Okay.
So your charge value is important to you.
Yeah, then it just becomes a matter of like, what kind of coffee do you want to have to drink, and then finding the green coffee itself and the roast profile for that green coffee to match, to make you happy.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Interesting that they provide two different taste profiles, and we were able to distinguish.
Yeah, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that as a parent to be.
So I use them interchangeably. You know, left side today, right side tomorrow. Who cares?
Do you notice the difference?
And I don't. Not until we got down to doing this. And I think it's just because I'm throwing a bunch of milk on top, and I can't taste the difference because of all the milk.
Well, what kind of coffee do you normally use?
I generally roast my own. We can go downstairs after we finish to look at the roaster and all that. But this is just store bought. I found a bag of Rise Up, and Rise Up is over in Easton where I grew up. And I know the folks, so I bought the bag just feeling comfortable with them. I've seen their roasting process, and I think they know what they're doing.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, you have a roasting setup here too?
It's just downstairs. It's a small hobby roaster.
What kind of roaster?
It's a Hottop.
Oh, nice, excellent.
And in the second drawer, we have beans.
So where do you get coffee from?
Sweet Maria's, generally speaking. Sometimes I use the Green Coffee Buyers Club. You've ever heard of that?
I'm familiar with them.
They're just an online resource for people who own cafes like yourself. They're buying in bulk. You can go between 5 and 50 pounds, and they generally are just swapping in bulk. Cuts out one more middleman, I think. So the prices are fairly reasonable.
Okay.
And they have really great descriptions of each one of the coffees that they offer. They have somebody professional to pull 15 shots off of it and say, here's what you can expect if you roast at these different levels.
So now how do you go about selecting coffees?
I read the descriptions. I look at the spider charts. I think the spider charts are what really drives me to determine which coffees I'm going to like. And
Sweet Maria's provides all that? Okay.
The scores. I go for high scoring. I mean, why wouldn't you go for high scoring, right?
Sure.
And I know what I like at this point. I really love Ethiopian coffees, and so if I vacillate between Ethiopians and Central Americans, I feel like I'm always getting something fresh, something different, and something delicious.
Now, are you just staying with single origin, or are you blending coffees as well?
I started out with blends, and then I moved on to single origins.
When you say you start with blends, you mean you were buying people's blends?
Buying blends, yeah.
But how about blending your own?
Haven't done that.
Okay.
I'm not smart enough for that.
It's not that difficult.
It is if you've never done it.
What's going on? There's Matt. You can talk, dude. It's not like we're not like that here. This is not a movie.
Matt was out
What's
in the
up?
pool.
How was the pool?
Good.
Was it awesome?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Did you use the outdoor shower too?
She's fascinating. I need to build one of those.
It's so
They're magical.
Oh yeah, those
outdoor
are
shower.
those are
Especially if you get all sweaty from yard work, and then you just go in the outdoor shower and
That's what I need it for, because when I'm weed eating and mowing,
it gets all over.
I'm
you.
just And I track it through the house.
Yep.
And if I,
Just haven't gotten around to it.
pull me a shot.
Yeah, there we go. Full shot time.
This one's still hot.
Oh, thank you.
Are you not going to give him a fresh one?
Oh, of course I will.
This is Matt Faust. This is the guy of fame and fortune here in Baltimore. He knows Natalie Portman.
Yes.
I made her an oat milk latte the other night.
Natalie?
She loves an oat milk latte.
I love Natalie.
You should have seen what she was wearing the other night. It was wild.
I love
$1 million.
I love Natalie.
$1 million suit.
What do you mean? Like technically $1 million?
Technically $1 million suit. It was 24 karat gold. She was hanging from this like thing that had like those Cirque du Soleil ring things that were doing this. This scene was wild. Like a bunch of my buddies were like, I've been working in this industry for like a decade and I've never seen anything this wild.
Wow.
Like they caught the swimming pool on fire. It was wild.
Whoa.
It was
Wait, it was on purpose.
Yeah.
So Jay,
Yes.
left side or right side? High pressure?
I think the left side.
High pressure.
Oh, one's high and one's low.
Yeah.
So what, how do you choose?
Well, we just had an experiment between spring. The springs are different strengths, and so the right side is low strength, and the left side there is higher strength. You get more body. You get a better cup of coffee off the left side.
You do? Mm-hmm. So higher pressures.
We had to make 4 or 5 cups of coffee to get that determination, but that's what we've been in here doing. Feel free to move that aside when you.
So why'd you take it away?
It blondes, and you generally don't want the watery, last 10 seconds of that particular shot.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
It gets bitter at the end.
I know a guy that taught me how to do this.
God, I hope I didn't teach you that. That's embarrassing now.
If you can't laugh at yourself, who are you gonna laugh at?
That's a good job.
How would you describe it?
Oh, let's see.
Are you getting the leathery tobacco note that I was aiming for?
I taste some tart. Maybe some tartness. Is that the word I'm looking for? Slightly like bitter, but not too bitter.
In a
Like
positive way? Or
in a positive way. Like it's got a bite. At least to me, to my tongue. But I like it. Maybe some fruit. Is there some fruit? Cherry?
I got chocolate in the front and then like citrus in the back. But that's coffee. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just generally
Yeah.
espresso.
Yeah.
I can't describe what I tasted, but it was better off the left side. More body.
I agree.
What is this?
It's Jay's
Oh, Jay.
House Nation.
Ah.
The rude boy of coffee.
Rude boy.
Boy.
So this label is actually based off of a record label called House Nation. There was a House 12-inch called House Nation.
Because rude boy is like ska, Jamaican.
Yes, but this was a house song track,
Okay.
and it was just costume from like 1986.
You know what else I noticed?
Tell us.
That I see that says 255, right?
Yep.
There's no way this shot's 255, right?
No.
And it's not near as hot as what I'm used to, and I like that.
Hot temperature.
Temperature.
Huh.
Like my machine, I think, is like comes
to-
out boiling,
You have to wait a bit before
which
you
makes
sip
a
it.
ton. Yep. Like I could drink this
The
right
cup
away.
was cold. Were your cups hot?
My cups are never hot.
No, he has paper cups, right?
Well, on my truck I have paper cups, but like at home I use
Yeah.
like this. So by the time it gets,
We were talking about that at the onset. Was like, do you think 255 is too high? and we've had a bunch of coffee tastings today, and I think Jay would agree that no, doesn't taste scalding.
There's no way this is 255.
No, the offset of what actually comes through to the coffee bed is more like 200, but 55 degrees is a huge offset. That's a really big offset.
Yeah.
Surprising that it still functions as like palatable espresso.
It could also be part of that could also be that the probe could be very close to the actual heating element.
Yeah.
That could be giving it a higher reading.
Wouldn't you expect everything in the boiler to be the same temperature?
You're the engineer. I mean, I imagine that the stuff that's on the outer edge, closer to the copper body, would bleed off more.
Nah.
No, okay. Well, see, I'm not an engineer.
A quarter of a degree.
I don't know those things.
Yeah, but I was reading this. By the time it gets from in there and goes through whatever comes out here,
it's a lot of
it loses a lot.
It sheds a lot.
Sheds a lot.
Those groups are very heavy.
That's why a lot of the new things have the they have that probe thing there
to tell you how hot it is when it's coming through.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. They do have, some of the new ones have probes. Right?
The decent is like, we measure from the head.
Did you buy one of those too?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I don't like the.
I don't think that was available in the 70s in Monaco when they built this machine. Sorry.
I do like the old school better. Yeah.
The levers are interesting, right? The engineering of all those gears and just the engineering is incredible.
These
zero maintenance too. I mean.
Yeah, and they're so simple. Can I?
Yeah.
Just hold on to it. Don't let it go.
Yeah.
That is easy.
Oh, you already know how to use these machines. I don't even tell you that.
That one's harder. Look at the way the machine flexes too when you do that.
But that's. Did you change these out?
That one's firm and this one's soft. One's just firmer than the other.
That's easier than mine, I think.
I'm using silicone piston seals. Are you familiar with them? So I'll just open this a sec. Cafe Lot sells. I mean, these are regular EPDM. These are the hard rubber ones, right? But there are special ones. Paul Pratt has ones that are made of silicone, those blue ones, and they're softer and smoother. If you run your fingers across this black stuff, it's fairly sticky. And if you run your fingers across the silicone ones, it's really slippery. And the piston is just going up and down, and there's 3 seals on each piston. So that friction gets to be a lot.
Probably, yeah.
So I feel like by using the silicone seals, you get a much smoother action on the lever than the old one. And like again, in 1980s when levers were built, they didn't have the technology of choosing, better rubber substances than what they had. Just makes sense to me. And they last. The silicone lasts longer.
How much longer do they last?
I mean, like you said the other day, it all depends on how frequently you're using it and heating it up. But silicone's good for, I think the melting point on silicone's like in the 600s.
It's hot.
Yeah. Whereas this
If you melt that, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Whereas these feel like they're made of, I don't know, more crusty rubber. Yeah, this is an old one. That should just go right there.
Oh, that's already cracked.
Oh, yeah.
I feel this one. It's like just better stuff.
Now this is for inside the group, inside the piston.
Here's a used one that even this is like, that's a smoother. It almost feels like it has Vaseline on it, right? Whereas these feel like they're just stickier and.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That to me feels like if you're going to be pulling on the lever daily all day, especially if you were in a commercial setting, I'd want to have the silicone seals. Plug for Paul Pratt and silicone seals.
Paul Pratt. God, I haven't seen him in a long time, man.
I've never met him.
Wow.
Haven't had the honor. But
he's still in Hong Kong?
I think so. Man. I just wish I could order them easier off your website.
Is that the espresso?
It's called Cafe Lot.
Oh, okay.
Am I right?
Yeah, Cafe Lot, exactly. I have his temper, I think, or something. I've got a couple stuff from him.
You want to bring this on over someday and
Jay and I were talking about that. I got the steel in the garage. We just need thicker gauge stuff.
Next week is, I only got 2 events, so.
Okay. So we tried different coffees. We tried different levers. We tried different springs. We tried, different grind sizes, actually. Just a little bit of tweaking. So I feel like, I don't know. my invitation for Jay to come over was like, bring your golden palette. Tell me how you would adjust this machine to get the better cup of espresso. And I feel like after today, unless you're just not saying so, that we're in the ballpark.
No, I think we definitely are in the ballpark. Yeah, for sure.
You could fuss with it, but
For sure.
So what's the short end of what's the Cliff Notes version of that you learned?
I don't know. I'll let Jay summarize us.
I mean,
Where are we?
I think it seems like these group heads are pulling fine. You know, there's not much you can control outside of what you're controlling now, to my thought. So it's really just a matter of getting the coffee that you want and dialing that in, and then matching the grind to the resistance and how much quantity you're using for each shot. I mean, I think at the end of the day, that's really the battle, is, you know, getting the coffee that you like in the style that you want, and then using the right amount for the water and the pressure and the roast profile. I think a lot of it has to do external of the machine rather than with the machine itself. Is it good?
No.
All right, what's going on here now?
Roasting. My DIY roasting setup. I bought some cheap rheostats from Harbor Freight, and they control the fans. But basically, I have an exhaust fan. It's a inline, and I just
400 CFM?
It's more. I think it's more like 600. But I bought a piece of plywood, fitted into the window screen, and punched a hole in it, and then duct taped it everywhere. Basically, when you turn it on, it vents. Everything from the room goes in this portal and then up out the window. So there's zero smell, zero smoke, zero anything, and all of the roasting activity goes up and out the window, which is great.
Wow.
A regular hot top, which I've kind of modded with thermocouples.
Oh, just for...
And this neat contraption is my cooling tray. When you're done roasting, I put it in the sieve with a strainer around it and just put it on there. It's a squirrel cage fan that cools the beans quickly.
Oh, and it just blows into the box.
It blows up, so all the chaff goes up and out as well.
Oh, so it's right above the...
Right above the hole.
The hole, so...
So I use some insulation foam and, like, you know, toothpaste and duct tape and bubble gum, zip ties.
So do you actually close the plexi?
I don't really have to. I thought I would, which is why I made it modular. But you can obviously just pull these clamps and the whole thing slides down, and it you just get more or less of an opening. I have it set where it's set because I get my arms in there to push the buttons and whatnot.
Right. So the rheostat is for the two fans, the two rheostats. What's this big one for?
This is a Variac, and I kind of deliver a little bit more voltage to the hot top. There's pretty widespread internet usage that turned me onto this. I picked this up off of Craigslist for $20. They're hard to find anymore because they're from like the 50s and 60s. But
so wait, you're adding more power?
You can add more voltage with this device than 120, so you can actually dial it up and get.
Wait, this is the numbers here represent voltage?
They present percentages of output, so you can dial it up. You can actually overjuice your electrical supply, which is kind of interesting.
So this is 80% of power?
So what I use is this. It's right here on. This is
the
kilowatt, I think they're called.
Yeah, the kilowatt.
So I use this as an interface off of the Variac like this, and then I run the hot top from here, and at least I get a reading of how many volts or amps I'm using into the hot top.
So you just dial in the amount of amps.
Once you turn it on, the voltage goes down because you're sucking a whole bunch of voltage off of the line, and then by turning it up, you can get it back up to 120, 125 volts instead of 100.
How does that affect your roasting?
You can get a higher charge temperature faster, but also throughout the whole roast, the problem with the hot tops is if you can only do like 250 grams, but with the Variac, you can get it up to 300 or 350 grams per cycle. And that makes a big difference. If you're doing a pound of coffee, you have to do 4 cycles. And the other issue with the Hottop is it takes forever to cool down. It doesn't let you start again. Like, you just go back to back.
That's right.
And I'm so jealous of that. This won't let you start another roast until it cools down. You have to wait like 15 minutes just for it to cool down. It's so ridiculous. So what I do is I use that vacuum over there, right? And I put the vacuum up to the vent on the Hottop, and I just literally pull all of the heat that I can off of it quickly. So in like a 2 or 3 minute cycle, I can go back to roasting another batch.
Wow.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's kind of just, I'm dealing with the circumstances of the Hottop.
Right.
But
Have you thought about getting a different roaster?
too expensive.
Too expensive. Like, what would you get if you were to go for a different roaster?
It would have to be you'd have to be able to do a kilo, like Matt's roaster. I think that's about the right size.
So how long does it take to roast? Like, how long to charge and then to actually do the roast?
I aim for 10 to 12 minutes.
10 to 12 minutes. And then how long to get the temperature when you start?
Oh, it's only like 5 or 7 minutes to ramp up to charge temperature.
Oh.
But I'm trying to use old Mac laptops as the interface between the roaster and the like Artisan or other software programs. But I think I need to switch over to PC-based programs because I haven't had much luck with the Macs talking to the Hottops.
Oh, is it supposed to converse with the Hottop?
The new ones do. This is kind of like a half evolutionary cycle. I had to install my own thermoprobes and USB outputs so that you can know what the temperatures are inside the Hottop.
I see. So what are you using for software then?
Right now I'm using like an old program called Roast Logger. It's really not that great of a program, but it works for the laptop. So I'd like to use the more involved programs that give me more data, like Artisan or something like that. I just haven't found the computer interface to the Hottop to be compatible yet.
I see.
I don't have a spare PC laptop lying around. I should, but I don't at this point. I have Macs, not.
So what kind of Mac are you using here?
It's just an old laptop from like 2010 or something.
Are you running emulation or something on it, or?
No, it's native Mac-based software. I think that here's the issue is that like it runs JavaScript. The roasting software I run is JavaScript, and if I upgrade that laptop to the new operating system, it won't run my roasting software anymore. So I'm sort of stuck in like 2012 software.
Oh.
So I'm just, I haven't been roasting a whole lot just because I have had compatibility issues between the roaster and the software interface.
I mean, with the price of a lot of PC laptops today, why not just buy one of those like $200-$300 laptops?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's just a matter of cost priorities for me. I mean, I could buy a new bicycle or any one of my other hobbies that I have. It's just another thing on the list to buy.
Yeah, right? I get it. Oh, this is cool. This is interesting. I like it. How do you load it?
They give you a funnel. This is the funnel. And that fits on the top here like that.
I've never used one of these roasters. That's why I didn't know.
This is the front panel that I take off in order to get the vacuum in there to pull the heat away. Here's your drum in here. It spins. It's fairly simple in terms of what it does. And there's a dial that goes from 1 to 10 in terms of how much energy you're putting into the element, and then also a fan that, again, 1 to 10. Pretty simple.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
They do pride themselves on having pre-programmed recipes, but I don't really use them.
How much control do you have over the roasting?
With the computer, full control.
Okay, so with the computer, you can also control the heat application?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heat and fan, and you're varying, just like yours, basically.
Well, actually, I can't control any of those things. I mean, I can control the heat, but the fan is one constant speed.
Oh, really?
My roaster's like is a 70s era.
Well, you just need a rheostat, a variable controller. No?
For the fan?
Yeah.
You gotta get into electronics. Like, it's a whole...
Why don't you just buy one, Jay? Isn't that what you just asked me?
I'm just gonna buy a new roaster. There is one for sale for $26,000.
Yeah, Probat. How big of a...
And that's a 12 kilo.
Wow. I can't imagine. I'm at like 300 grams here.
I learned on a 22 kilo roaster. So.
You know what you're doing.
Awesome.
Your own. This is on Thingiverse. You can look it up and download the CAD files and print your own. The hopper too.
Oh, is that for these are on Thingiverse?
You can I put it up on Thingiverse. I get
Oh, you put it up.
A couple of people a year email me and say thanks a lot, and that's all I need. It's just hey, I made one of your funnels. This doesn't reach fully down to the full hole that the doser makes. It's kind of down here.
What do you mean it doesn't? Oh, this piece here.
I have a metal piece behind the funnel, behind this plastic.
Why do you put the piece at all?
Just to keep, because this is empty. It goes into the machine.
Oh, right. That's right.
So
That's
you
right.
need something to cover it, and then I just used a piece of aluminum. These screws are what really hold the whole thing together. I could make another version 2.0. Oh, now that we're done, we can pull this out. So yeah, it's fairly deep.
Oh.
And it's kind of a custom fit. A lot of dust. This is like a year's worth of use here. And
that just goes in here.
Yeah. And when you design it on CAD, you can get a perfect fit. The way that,
And this is all on Thingiverse?
Yeah. So download it for free. Give me a high five.
Download. Oh, is it high five on Thingiverse?
It's just sort of like thank the maker or whatever.
Oh, okay, cool.
These are called dippers. They have a tube in the back that goes. It's angled like a banana, and it goes into the water. Like the boiler water is down here, right, well below the group, and the straw, this tube, copper tube, sort of sits in the water bath, right, and because of the airspace above it causing pressure, when the piston goes up and reveals the hole, water comes across only when it's above 212. But the speed up time, the ramp up time is relatively quick. I want to say 15-20 minutes from cold to working operating temperature.
Yeah,
it stabilizes after an hour, but I was suspecting that it was going to be like, oh, we have to wait an hour to make coffee, and that's not the case. With 220, it's pretty quick.
Yeah. So you basically start the day every day by turning on the machine, and then
we kind of confined all the mess to this wall.
Smart,
yeah.
I love the setup, man. I love the setup here. Fantastic.
It's a good place to make a mess, and then you can clean it.
I like the fact that it's this kind of like this crazy Frankenstein kind of like
for sure.
machine that's.
It's all function first, right? Even these steamer and hot water delivery pipes are insulated. Trying to keep the energy low. I mean, if you're going to have an espresso machine in your house, let's not burn through the electricity bill.
So what about the next build? Obviously this is
work in progress.
It's gonna be like this, but
if I were to
don't you feel like you want to do a second machine? No. Like one that's like super designed.
No, the engineering that goes into the new machines, and I get it, and I'm jealous of those machines that deliver all these really great gizmos and wizardry, are well beyond my capability of DIYing it myself. So I'm kind of like, I have my one foot here, and I think I need to stay with where I am, because I'll never, to go up to that level would be impossible for someone like me.
But I mean, honestly, this level here, especially for a home setup.
Yeah,
this is outrageous. This is craziness.
Right.
Like you could literally roll this out to your driveway.
Yes.
And serve customers.
You could run a cafe off of that.
Yeah, and people do run cafes off of this. So,
yeah.
With the Mazur Major.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have a job.
You don't want to open a cafe? All right, good.
I learned a lot. Thank you so much for coming over today and having coffee with me.
My pleasure.
I hope you come back.
Do you drink coffee? What's your channel, by the way? You have a channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Jolene's all about everything.
Jolene's all about everything?
Mm-hmm.
Jolene's all about everything.
Thanks for watching.
Anything else?